is I got Phil Wilhelm, and then under it is FA Chapel September.17. Refresh. How do I refresh that? Tell me your YouTube channel again.
It's not doing that. Yeah.
Not very good at this, are you?
Yeah. Are you good now? I'm gonna look to talk to Kula. There you go.
Wait, what?
This is wet.
Hello?
Go. Good morning.
Because I just removed that. That was a test live stream I accidentally did. So you need to like look it up again, and the new one should show up.
We need a link for the thing.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
There's people that I don't know the link. All right, we're waiting on a few people to get in. We'll get here eventually.
So this picture will just pop up and go by itself, or I have to push play on the YouTube?
We're waiting on a few people to get in. We'll get here eventually.
So this picture will just pop up and go by itself, or I have to push play?
Oh, hello?
So, Dr. Beamish, all of your sound is coming through the stream, so you may want to just pause on saying anything yet.
So what did you do? You just
All right, we're waiting on getting the girls' dorm in. I sent the link to the other people in the other areas, so we're waiting on getting feedback from them on when they're in.
yeah.
So just give us a moment.
And it should say live next to the video.
So Andrew Rom, it looks like he's the only one in. Mrs. States is struggling. So right, Mrs. States.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jason.
Awesome.
What do you-
Oh, okay. No problem. Bye.
anywhere? You go all of the HDMI's. It should be. It should have been the main one. You hit the word exit on the remote, and it goes to the Apple TV. Here, I'm gonna let you talk to Pakula again.
What's up?
Andrew Rom used the channel, Phil Wilhelm channel, and he was able to find it. So
Jason, where are you right now?
if you guys can go there, Mr. McQuiston's in, Mrs. States is in, Clinton Carvel's in, Siggs is in. We're waiting on the cafeteria. That's the one area that we're getting figured out. Did he get it?
He's not. He like set his phone down and just like left me in the call.
Oh, okay. So he's going to check on that. Let's just wait for a moment for the cafeteria to get connected. This COVID stuff is ridiculous. Pakula, come here. But thank you to Pakula. He's a Minuteman. He gets everything done. I can't give him enough praise. Thank you.
No problem.
We have a guest speaker today. I'll announce him in a few moments, but we have to go through some announcements first. And once we get the cafeteria live, we will do that. Till then, I get to kill time. I just updated my iOS to the newest version, and there's some new things on it. I know all the Android users are going to think this is ridiculous, but see my widget? It's a widget, and that says I've been active for 2 out of the 30 minutes I'm supposed to today, so I'm desperately behind. And I've only burned 89 calories, which I know you could get that by doing nothing. So it's going to be a rough day. I've got about a 5-hour meeting this afternoon, so I'm going to fail at all my activity goals for the day. Hopefully you won't, although with the little bit rainy weather, you might fail as well. How about you, Pakula? Are you going to fail at your activity goals for today?
Oh, so far I haven't. I have like a 6,000 step goal in my watch, and I always reach that usually every day.
What are you at right now, Pakula?
Like 750, so not a lot.
You're at 750.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just see if I can find out my step count for today. I know everybody at Fletcher Academy is very interested in my health, and I appreciate that. That's a beautiful thing. Step count. Ooh, 1,284. I'm killing it.
Wow.
I'm 0.7 miles.
Wow.
I've gone almost 3/4 of a mile. What about you, Pakula? What was it again?
750.
750. Ouch.
I can never be as good as well.
Not today. You'll catch up. All right, still waiting on the cafeteria. So if you're in the cafeteria and you're connected, let me know by text message, please. Did they say they got in?
They haven't said anything yet.
They haven't said anything yet. Ooh, Mrs. States is at 2,400 steps. Wow.
Wow.
You are doing a good job. She's demolishing my number. She's doubled it, basically. She's twice as good as me. Rom, how about you? How you doing today? He's telling me that tomorrow is Bring a Friend to CrossFit Day. He's trying to get me to go to CrossFit and kill myself. Pay money to have myself destroyed physically. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. But I don't know that I'm ready to take that step. CAF is in. We're all in. We can get chapel started. Ooh, Rom, I don't want to say that statistic. That's unattainable. So, all right. Ask Coach Dean Rom about bench press today, and he'll give you his statistic. All right. Mr. Moffitt is at 4,135 steps. Wow. Wow, I have some very fit staff. That's exciting. All right. I'm going to get chapel started. Thank you for coming today.
Welcome screen doesn't have it on.
There's your welcome. Thank you for coming and connecting. And now we will have our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for joining us for the pledge. And now there's people in your location that will help lead you in the school song. I don't know who you are, but just start it spontaneously.
If you want to mute this is like general. So now the only source that's actually set to play.
All right, I sang it in my head. I believe that is an adequate amount of time. Hopefully you sang it out loud. I didn't want to sing a solo on here and have it recorded. The ACT test. The deadline for signing up without a late fee is Friday. That's tomorrow. Seniors, we're supposed to be having vouchers for you so that you can sign up and not have to pay. So we will be working with you to get that done. Anybody else, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors that are wanting to take the ACT test, you are on your own to get it signed up for. If you have trouble, you can come and we will assist you, but we cannot do it for you. You have to go to actstudent.org and create an account if you have never done it, and go through the process and have your parent pay with a credit card. So that is on you if you want to sign up, but if you want to do it before the deadline is tomorrow, so have it done sometime by the end of tomorrow. Campus Ministries, here's some announcements for that. Vespers, The Chosen will be at 2 locations, the chapel and the girls' dorm, chapel. And just like it was last week, if you want to tune into that, I'm not even sure which one you're on, but you're maybe on 5. Anyway, nearing the end. On Sabbath, breakfast at the church, 11 a.m., Waterfall Sabbath. Mr. Bass is taking a group to go see some waterfalls. The first 30 dorm students to sign up, he's going to be sending out a Google form. So you will need to check your email for that Google form. And if you're the first 30, he'll take you. That's his capacity. Dinner's at 4:30. Sundown worship at 6:30. Meet at the flagpole and bring a Bible. It should be good weather. And now I would like to introduce our chapel speaker. This is a gentleman that I've become friends with over the years. I don't remember how long ago it's been since we made our first contact. It was sometime when I was at Bass Academy still, which was, I'm not sure where, and I probably blew him off at that time because he was this guy that just wanted to talk to me about careers and things. But since coming to Fletcher, we have gotten to know each other in person, and it's been an enjoyable time becoming friends. And he's got a great accent that you'll be familiar with because he comes from a land not from here originally. Although he is a U.S. citizen, And so he lives in Atlanta, and that's where he's joining us from. So we're doing this first time. He's going to be on Zoom. We're capturing the Zoom call, and so he's going to speak to you guys. His name is Dr. David Beamish. And seniors, you might have had a little exposure to his name already because he does career counseling for all the seniors each year. So he also has a counseling profession and a practice down in Atlanta. But he's a great guy. Golf, I'm not so sure about, but anyway, he's a lot of fun. So I'm going to turn the time over to him now, and here you go.
Good. So we're live. You can hear me? All right. Well, good morning to everybody at Fletcher Academy. The only thing I want to say about anything Mr. Wilhelm just said is that when you see him in the next day or two, Mr. Wilhelm and I have only ever played golf one time, and just ask him who drove the ball the furthest on the, I think the 12th tee of the place that we play golf. And that's all you need to ask him. Just ask him that question. And I am going to be looking forward to coming to Fletcher starting very soon and meeting with every one of the seniors. And I think the seniors did a great job of starting doing some career tests that we go through every single year. So I really enjoy getting to spend time with every one of you guys and reviewing that. But I know I've got the opportunity today to speak to the school, and that the freshmen and the sophomores and the juniors are there as well. And, you know, I got to think, what do you say when you have a few minutes to talk to a group of high school students? And, you know, the first thing that came to my mind is, you know, I get to talk to a lot of kids that are in high school, and many of them that I get to talk to, it's obviously because there's been a problem. Something's not gone well for them, either in their family or in their personal situation, or sometimes it involves the police and law enforcement. And it's had me thinking more and more about how much you guys are living in a time that is different than any other time. There's been more change in this generation for all of you than what certainly has occurred in the generation before you and the generation before that. And it's so easy to say that, you know, everybody says, well, you know, we're just, everybody thinks that their generation has more change than the other generations, but you guys truly have. And so there's kind of good and bad news with that. One of the things that's really great news about that is that you end up having more opportunities than you've ever had before. With the technology of today, your guys' lives are different than ever before. And with that, I think there's also more challenges in different ways. And our society really hasn't had any chance to really figure out how to deal with the problems that they didn't even know were going to exist. And so one of the things I've realized, I read an article over the weekend, and it talked about that 2020 has been a year different than any other year in America, and that Americans are having crisis fatigue. And if you end up looking around and you see, you know, there's no one in the government can agree on anything. And there's obviously a pandemic the reason I'm talking to you on a computer and I'm not up in Chapel with you where you normally are is because there's obviously the pandemic, there's wildfires burning half of the West Coast, hurricanes and tornadoes and other sorts of storms and activity and climate change. And we could go on and on and on about the number of problems we're running into and the things that we seemingly have got no control about. But the one thing I know you have control about is to think about how you guys are making your own decisions. And it's one of the biggest things where you've got some of the greatest amount of freedom for your age than you'll ever have. And by and large, because of I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the iGen generation, which started in 1995 through to when you were born in 2012. And you guys have more freedom in certain ways than any generation before you, but with that comes a huge amount of responsibility. And so I really want you guys to be thinking as I watch a video with you about what's the criteria that you use in how you make decisions. Do you mostly make decisions by yourself? Is there an adult in your life that you know that you can talk to? Are there a lot of adults? For some people, parents are an incredible resource. And for other people in high school, parents are the last people that they would think to talk to, or that they would want to talk to or trust. So everybody's situation is going to be unique and different to them. But every one of you's got an opportunity and a responsibility to figure out what are the things that I need to be doing that are going to help me be the clearest that I can be in the decisions that I have to make about my life. So that's all I want to say. And we've got a video that we're just going to queue up here, and I'm going to be watching it with you for the next few minutes. And then I want to make a few comments and we'll close. So thanks for your attention on this video.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living." Now, I'm sure in your experiences in school and applying to college and picking your major and deciding what you want to do with life, I'm sure people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you got something to fall back on, honey. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. Without consistency, you'll never finish. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before, but I want to talk to you about why that's so important. You will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. There's no doubt about it. And I know that's probably not a traditional message for a graduation ceremony, but hey, I'm telling you, embrace it, because it's inevitable. In the acting business, you fail all the time. Early on in my career, I auditioned for a part in a Broadway musical. Perfect role for me, I thought, except for the fact that I can't sing. I didn't get the job. But here's the thing. I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. I walked out of there to prepare for the next audition, and the next audition, and the next audition. I prayed. I prayed. And I prayed. But I continued to fail, and fail, and fail. But it didn't matter, because you know what? There's an old saying, you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later you're going to get a haircut. So you will catch a break, and I did catch a break. Last year, I did a play called Fences on Broadway. But here's the kicker. It was at the Court Theater. It was at the same theater that I failed that first audition 30 years prior. The point is, every graduate here today has the training and the talent to succeed. But do you have the guts to fail? If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. So imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed when your time comes? I just got back from South Africa. It's a beautiful country, but there are places there with terrible poverty that need help. And Africa is just the tip of the iceberg. The Middle East needs your help. Japan needs your help. Alabama needs your help. Tennessee needs your help. Louisiana needs your help. Philadelphia needs your help. The world needs a lot, and we need it from you. We really do. We need it from you young people. I mean, I'm not speaking for the rest of us up here, but I know I'm getting a little grayer. We need it from you, the young people, because remember this. You got to get out there. You got to give it everything you got, whether it's your time, your talent, your prayers, or your treasures. What are you going to do with what you have? I'm not talking about how much you have. Some of you are business majors, some of you are theologians, nurses, sociologists, some of you have money, some of you have patience, some of you have kindness, some of you have love, some of you have the gift of long suffering. Whatever it is, whatever your gift is, what are you going to do with what you have? All right, now here's my last point about failure. Sometimes it's the best way to figure out where you're going. Your life will never be a straight path. I began at Fordham University as a pre-med student. I took a course called cardiac morphogenesis. I couldn't read it, I couldn't say it, I sure couldn't pass it. So then I decided to go into pre-law, then journalism. And with no academic focus, my grades took off in their own direction. I was a 1.8 GPA. And the university very politely suggested that it might be better to take some time off. I was 20 years old. I was at my lowest point. And then one day, and I remember the exact day, March 27th, 1975, I was helping my mother in her beauty shop. My mother owned a beauty shop up in Mount Vernon. And there was this older woman who was considered one of the elders in the town. And I didn't know her personally, but I was looking in the mirror, and every time I looked at the mirror, I could see her behind me, and she was staring at me. She just kept looking at me. Every time I looked at her, she kept giving me these strange looks. So she finally took the dryer off her head and she said something I'll never forget. She said, "Young boy, I have a prophecy, a spiritual prophecy." She said, "You are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people." And in the years that followed, just as that woman prophesied, I have traveled the world and I have spoken to millions of people through my movies. Millions who up till this day couldn't see me, who up till this day I couldn't see while I was talking to them, and they couldn't see me, they could only see the movie. They couldn't see the real me. But I see you today. And I'm encouraged by what I see. And I'm strengthened by what I see. Because taking risk is not just about going for a job. It's also about knowing what you know and what you don't know. It's about being open to people and to ideas. The chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, that's what's going to define you. Never be discouraged. Never hold back. Give everything you got. And when you fall throughout life, remember this: fall forward.
So, guys, I just wanted you to think about what Denzel Washington was saying about just how he's learned about things. And well, I just got to turn my feed off. 1 second here, guys. I'm hearing myself back. There we go. I just want you guys to think about, what Denzel Washington just said and how he's made decisions for his own life about the things that are important to him. And boy, think about the idea of falling forward. And how do you decide to do that? And, one of the things about your generation, the iGen, the kids that grew up from 1995 and later, is that you've grown with technology. We call it, it's native to you. It's just all you've known. And with that comes an incredible amount of opportunity. But here are some of the other things that you guys are sort of going to be facing and challenging as teenagers and high school students. So Jean Twenge is one of the researchers that's done some of the most individual research on the iGen generation. And so some of the good things is that you guys are much more tolerant. You're tolerant of more different cultures, sexual orientations, races than other generations. You're much more cautious, actually. You're less risk-taking than in other generations. Actually, alcohol and drug use in high school students has actually gone down. So it's probably always down at Fletcher Academy, I think. But beyond that, it's outside. But some of the other challenges is, as a generation, you are much less likely to go to church or stay in church. You're much more likely to give yourself independent choice in what you want to do or how you want to do that. You're less likely to defer to authority, people in authority. And so for everything about this, there is a plus side and a minus side. And I feel like there's never been a more important time for each person starting from high school and going on in claiming, how am I going to make the important decisions in my life? What am I going to stand for? What are the principles that are going to guide me? Because at some point, what you've been taught and what you've been told you have to do will stop being the reason that you do the things you do. And at some point, you're going to give yourself more permission in more areas to be the decision makers in your own life. So if you don't have clarity about what the values are that are going to be most important to you, then you are hugely at risk of just getting swept along with what other people are doing. One of the biggest challenges of the iGen generation is you've never been more connected, but you've also never been more lonely. And there's up to 40% of high school students that report interpersonal loneliness. Very connected through social media, but the way we feel connected sometimes or valued is going to be how much we're messaged or how much social media contact we are either providing or people are responding to. And so it's shifting in the way that it has been for other generations. And it's so important that we end up connecting to some group of people personally. And I'm all for the technology. I've got every bit of it in my house, and I like all the things and the convenience that technology does for us. But it is never going to be a substitute for the connection to other people. And it's never going to be a substitute for seeking the connection to God and choosing to include God in our lives in a way that's healthy. And sometimes we have to learn how to do that, because some of the ways we've taught are not necessarily going to feel healthy or what we claim as we get older. We have to brand our own experience, otherwise it's not our own. So sometimes that's a little bit scary for adults, and it's a little scary for teachers. And it's certainly a little scary, I'm sure, for Mr. Wilhelm as the principal of the school, thinking, what might some of the students be doing? But I want to be someone that promotes you guys claiming your own experience. It doesn't mean you have to do it in a reckless or a responsible way, but you certainly want to do it in a fun way. And if your foot goes up to the line and maybe just even across the line every now and then a little, just to know where the line is for sure, I think that's fine. As long as you're not doing anything that's going to cause a risk to your own safety or somebody else, then go for it. It's like you don't want to live your life wishing what you had done, but you want to live your life remembering and relishing the opportunities of what you did. I want to close by just telling you, I remember, I'll never forget years ago when it was a July 4th celebration, and I was living in a city actually, that had a big military base. And there must have been about 30 or 40,000 people in a big stadium for the July 4th celebration. And all the fireworks were actually let off in the middle of the field. And we were far enough back that we could see them directly, and we were away from them. And one of the things they did is that they played the anthem for each one of the armed forces. And so, when they did they called out the army, and anyone in the crowd who had served in the army was asked to stand up, and they played the army song. And then they ended up doing the Navy. And then it was an Air Force town. So when the Air Force song was played by the band, there was thousands of people, hundreds that stood up, and massive amount of cheering, because this was an Air Force town. And then I remember the Coast Guard, and there was just a fewer number of people. And then finally they played at the end the Marine song. And one of those things that I will never forget is that everybody looked around and nobody was standing. It seems like there was no Marines. And then among the crowd, you could just see this sense something, but it's one of those things where, I don't know, have you ever seen people looking off in the distance but nobody knows why they're all looking? And eventually the crowd ended up shifting, and it turns out there was one Marine in that 40,000 people in his full dress uniform, standing to attention and saluting. And ultimately, everybody in that stadium, I think, felt like I did, that this person was convicted and they knew what they stood for. So when they stood up as one person among a crowd of 40,000, by the end of that song, all 40,000 people had their attention fixed on that one person. And it was the most incredible cheer at the end. I'm not sure that they beat the Air Force, because there was just so many Air Force people there. But I've never forgotten thinking about the perfection of that person's uniform and the commitment and the honor and the pride to what they believe in. So I wonder if I could challenge you guys to think, what do you feel strongly about that you could just be making a stand for? And it doesn't have to be in a public way. This Marine just stood up in his row, and he just stood for what he believed in. And I wonder if you guys are clear about what are the things that you guys are standing for. What is it that's going to make a difference literally today or tomorrow? There are some problems that we have that I think we never solve. We just have to live our life figuring out how to manage them. Sometimes we have to look at things in the past that have hurt us to be able to get past them. But mostly we want to try to live as much as we can for today and looking to our future. And the best way sometimes to overcome a bad history or a tough history is to create new history and to figure out how to do that. And I don't know that most of us can do that alone and by ourselves. So the one other thing I'm aware of is not this spring break, which was wiped out from COVID, but a year ago, our family went on a U.S. history tour. And I don't know why I'm drawn to this. I grew up in Australia where we don't have the universities like America has, in the size of the university. So I love going to big university campuses. And so we went to William and Mary, which is in Virginia. And I remember paying attention as we went into the middle of the campus, and there's, you know, hundreds and really thousands of students that are walking around. And so many of them, they may have been walking in groups of twos and threes, but the majority of them weren't talking to anyone. And probably 80% or 90% of the students, they had headphones on and they were living in their own world. They were listening to their own music, and our individualism is just promoted as being the option, in some cases being even preferred. So I think these are the things that you guys have to continue to decide. Who can you trust? Who do you connect with? And what are the principles that are going to, in the end of the day, guide you as you guys make a decision of how to fall forward, not to fall back? And if you get beaten back, what do they say? If you get knocked down 10 times, you've got to get up 11. So I'm looking forward to being up at Fletcher this year. I know the seniors, I'm going to get to meet you all. I don't get to meet as much of the other classes, until you're a senior probably. But if any of you see me in the halls, I'd love to say hi. And if any of you like some private information that I could share about Mr. Wilhelm, please come and see me, and I'll be happy to. I don't know if it'll be guaranteed to be true or not, but that's beside the point. So thanks for your time today, guys. And we'll look forward to catching up with you seniors real soon. And the rest of you, I just hope you have a great year. Thanks so much.
All right, that's it for chapel. Let's bow our heads for prayer, and then we'll dismiss. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much that you are here with us each and every day through all of our successes and also our struggles. We thank you for reaching down and picking us up and having us continue forward, and with you leading. Please bless our day, our efforts, our work, our school, our play. And also, please bless the food that we are about to eat. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.